In today's video, I'm going to show the very beginner how to make a awesome little Christmas tree out of an old used fence board. This isn't used fence board, but you guys can get used fence board and make a Christmas tree that has lights in it. As the seasons change, we're not even past Halloween yet. It's October, and here I am once again, carving the fence board, Johnson fence board Christmas trees. This is Western red cedar I bought from the hardware store from Home Depot. You can do these trees in pine, any type of wood you get. Oak, it's just, I get cedar. This is 8-inch across, so they call it like a 1x8. I just call them fence boards. You can do it on a 1x6. You can do it on a 1x10. You can do it on a 2x10. Like if you get a old rusty 2x12s, you do not have to have new wood. You can use old gray fence boards that you can find on Marketplace. Now, there's lots of stuff to this. There's lots of work that goes into this video for these fence board Christmas trees, so I don't want to waste any of your time. So there's different shapes. You can make it windy this way. You can make it windy this way. You can make it straight. You can give it the real hook on the top. The real, I think that's the night before Christmas hook thing. You can do 20 lights. You can do 5 lights. You can do 40 lights. You can do 5 million lights if you want. Yes. So the one we're going to focus on today is this one. You know, there's also different ways you can draw on the tree patterns when you're carving it. And you do not have to carve it. You can see I carved this one the other day. Drew on the lines like that. The drill holes, you know, there's so many different ways you can do it. You can drill them. You can drill the drill holes before you even cut out the tree. You know, if you have a jigsaw, you can cut out these trees. Anybody can do it. This is for the very beginner. Bandsaw, you can cut out the trees. You can even cut out the friggin' trees with the handsaw if you got a handsaw. You can stain the trees. You can paint the trees. You can burn the trees. There's just so much different things you can do. But for this video, we're going to focus on this one right here. It's a nice, easy, simple tree. So, like I was talking about the drill holes for the lights. We'll talk about the lights later, but these are the kind of lights I get. These from the dollar store. This is a pack of 20 LED lights, battery powered. Or I believe these are the ones that you get at Walmart. The green packs. These are $2.98 a set. Battery powered. 2 AA's. And then you get the ones like this. I think this is from the dollar store too. Now we'll talk more about the lights later. So let's draw on our pattern for this one. And we'll show you all the different ways that you can do it. So I'm giving you the wider view on my camera. So I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. So I went to I bought this at Home Depot. See how thick it is. It's not a true 1-inch. Oh, there's a crack there. Great. I bought I think it was a 10-foot board for $10. I'm in Canada, so $10 Canada, probably cheaper in the States. But I made 5 of these trees out of that board for $10. These are great, amazing Christmas presents, and these things are top sellers for me at Christmas time. And you get good money for these. I get good money for these anyways. And I'm not going to lie, I sell these for $100 each. Because there's a lot of work that goes into these. That's for sure. So let's start off drawing this on. Like, there's different ways you can draw it. You can just draw. I want to show you an example of this one that I did. I drew it so it kind of it wraps around. It's got movement in it. See that? See how this one here has movement? Now, you see this one just kind of goes straight across. Now, it doesn't look too great when it goes straight across like that. It's a straight line. So, but when you give it the nice movement in there, it looks a lot better when you're doing this type of tree. This is kind of the way I'm going to do this one's kind of a standard way to do trees. Is how I learned. I don't know if this peak's going to stay on there. It might break off. It's pretty thin now. So what I started off going down this way with one of these. And then you can draw a center line if you want. I'm sorry I can't get the whole tree in the video. But I just kind of go from here. Try and keep your center line. But these, when you're drawing this on, it will leave center. You can't always put it center unless you're coming out from the center. It's hard to explain. Just keep on bringing your branches out from the center. But I think this is probably the easier way for the beginners. Now you see, it's just kind of like fish scales. Now you can, this has two branches. It has a branch on this side and a branch on this side. So this would be like maybe a pine tree. I don't know what kind of tree really. I don't care. It's a Christmas tree. Fence board Christmas tree for Christmas. Now, then you don't have to make these just for Christmas time. People will buy these. They make great gifts. You can get the clear lights. Like this one is the clear lights. I look for the warm ones. These ones aren't that warm. Yeah, these ones are like pure white, they say. I look for the ones that say the warm white. Like this package here. Light set. This one is the warm white. It's not like the bright white. They kind of got a little bit of a yellow tint. No. I start these smaller and I get bigger as I go down. So bigger. These lines are kind of messing you up. I know that I got on here. But you see how your center line's here? You're just pushing this one over to that side from the center line. So this one will go over here. Bigger down here. And then this bottom one, just right here. Wherever you want. It's your tree. It's your creation. So, you can put these, how I did this, right in the center. Then you could put another branch. So there's one in the middle too. So you'd get 1, 2, 3. If that makes sense. Let me just, let me get a piece of paper here, please. Before I forget, you don't even need to carve this tree. You could just get a pattern online or something, or draw out your pattern and cut this on your bandsaw or with your jigsaw. And you can just drill the holes, paint it green, put some white on it so it's snowed. You might have to carve a little bit down here, but you can just paint this trunk brown. And you don't need to really carve this tree if you don't want to, but I think it gives it more detail. If you don't have a Dremel, then just do this. The reason you don't find me doing this too often is because this is such thin wood. These, say when somebody's putting it away for after Christmas, these tips have a chance of breaking off. So you don't really see me have too much tips sticking out. I'll do it a little bit, but not too much. But, drill your holes. Then there you go. There's a nice tree. So the way to make it, let's see here. The way to make it so like there's 3 branches on it, because you can see here, this one has 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So a branch on each side. If you want to make it more 3D, you just go like branch, 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 branch. Bigger when you're going down. Branch, branch. Then you could just put a branch in the middle here, like this. But be warned, it's a lot more work. You can make them bigger. So you'd have a branch here, and branch here. Does that make sense to you? But be warned, it's a lot more work. When I'm doing these trees, I've done so many billions of them. It's just, the sooner I can get them done, the better. Okay, another thing that I want to say I cut these out with my bandsaw at my chainsaw shop. These edges here, see how that's kind of straight? It's better if you make them more curved. To see how this one's got a nice curve there? But we can fix that. And I got my die grinder, not my die grinder, just my angle grinder with a sand disc on there. And I kind of beveled down this edge. Can you see that? So it saves you a lot of time. And I did this with the sander too, with my grinder with the sanding disc on it. I think it's 36 grit. But you see here, it's going to be super thin when I cut this, because these will have little tips. But you don't want to make too big of a tip, because this wood here is super thin and it will break off really easy. Now, before I talk about the 2 burrs that I'm going to use, So we got our things drawn on. All right, we got our pattern drawn on. For the trunk, all I do is just kind of go like this. You could give it some curves in there and then kind of cross them. Very basic stuff. So you can see here, I got this one drilled on. I counted 20 holes, I drilled 20 holes. Now this cedar, this cedar itself, it's not always like this, but all cedar's different. It grows in different areas. It's different first growth, second growth. I think this is first growth. Or maybe it's second growth. I think it's maybe second growth. It's got wider growth rings. But so for this one, I drilled the holes before I carved it, because when you drill the holes, you get, even though I drilled down this way, because you get blowouts. So the back, right? So I drill the holes down this way and you don't get the blowouts on the front, but still it's so chippy, you get little pieces like this. See that little piece there? So I think it's better to draw your pattern on, then drill your holes. Because if you carve it, and I think I did it with this one, if you carve it first, then you drill your holes, you're going to get chip outs. Like, can you see right there? See, that's a chip out, that little chunk of cedar. Then you're going to get chip outs. Then you would have to go over this again and clean up all your chip outs. So if you draw your pattern on, then carve it. No, so draw your pattern on, drill the holes, then carve it. When you're carving it, you can carve out those chip outs. So draw your pattern, drill your holes, then carve it. That's the route I suggest that you do it in. But do it any route you want. There's so many different ways to do it, like I said from the beginning of this video. So I'm going to get the drill and drill 20 holes. I'm going to use these lights. So with these lights, so here's your battery pack. It takes 2 AA's. Now these lights, this is what they look like. You know, the ones you get from Walmart, they have the black wires or they have white wires. These ones just happen to be clear wires. Drill bit, just a normal cheap wood drill bit. I don't know what size it is, but all I do, if I don't have a drill bit and I need to get a drill bit to drill these holes, I just put the drill bit underneath. So you drill bit, put the light there. Make sure the drill bit's a little bit bigger than the light. Yep, this is good. Perfect. This is the one that I'll use. This is just a cheap drill from Home Hardware. All right. Now, when you're drilling these holes, when you're drilling these holes, you can go one, you can mark them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 20. Or you can put a 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you can do whatever you want. But for me, what works the best is if I just concentrate and count in my head when I'm drilling the amount of holes I've drilled. Sometimes you can drill too many holes. It's not hard to fix if you drill too many holes. You just get a little plug, you plug it, you use some super glue. I just had to do it on one of my trees over here. I drilled an extra hole. I think it's better if you drill less holes and you realize you got to drill another hole when you're putting the lights in after, if that makes sense. So less holes is probably better than more holes. Now, I'm going to have to drill it overhead. Now, because I got this angle in here. I don't know how well you can see on camera. So I don't want to drill this straight in. I want to drill, when I got this angle, I want to drill it on a side. And also because I got my pattern, this is why it helps to put your pattern on first. I'm not going to drill a hole right where this line is because I'm going to carve deeper there. So I'm going to put my holes all in the open area. I usually have a way I do like 1, 2, 3, 4, then I go up the thing. Now, you also got to watch when you're drilling your holes with these lights. let me try and get this thing on cable. With these lights, there's only a certain amount of room between each light, so you don't want to drill your holes too far apart, because then you're not going to have enough room. Let me get this uncoiled. So this is the room that we have between each drill hole. See the wire? Light, light. That's the room that we have. So that's how far we can put our holes there. All right. So I suggest if you only have, okay, I'm getting off topic here, but both these lights. So it's Halloween time right now. There is Christmas stuff in the dollar stores and Walmart already. But both these lights, sometimes you can buy these lights that have like little pumpkins on them, or like little butterflies or little ghosts. Now they're glued onto these lights like a little clear pumpkin. So when it lights up, you see a little clear, little shiny glowing pumpkin. But you can get your heat gun or a blow dryer, warm that pumpkin up and just pull that off. And sometimes those are only 7 lights or 10 lights. Now just make smaller trees for the smaller lights. This is going to have lots of lights. This is 20. I got lots of room to go on here. When you're gluing it on the back with the hot glue gun, you're going to have to, it's kind of looks messy on the back, but we're just going to get her done. And people, I'm telling you right now, I'm not lying. I sell these for $80 or $100. No problem, hands down, sold. The day after Halloween, Booth posted on Facebook, Christmas trees for sale, or go to your markets and sell your stuff at your markets. I'm not saying you're going to get $80 or $100 for one of these trees, but I do. So I'm not going to take the camera out of the overhead setup, but here's like don't go too close to this edge. Get it straight in. I'm sorry, this is terrible filming, but this is the way it is. Oh, another thing too. This board is the little piece that I had left over from the board. I put this under here, so when I drill through that hole, this board's in the back, and you have a less chance of a blowout. Now I can't get my camera. Now my drill will barely fit in there. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll finish these all the way up here. So I got all my drill holes set up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 across. Then just kind of make them in random spots. Like I wouldn't suggest putting them straight across. Just kind of put them all over the place. So there's 20 holes. Now you can see here the back with the blowouts. It's got a little bit, but not much. I don't know. That's the way I do it. So you will have to go back over and clean some of these holes up. See how it's plugged up again? Get a screwdriver or whatever. Use your fingernail. But it's just best to get a bit. So now let's talk about carving this sucker. All right, so I think we're on point at 3, 2, 1. So I think we're on point this far. Now, here's the 2 Kutzall bits that I'm going to use. If you guys want to get these Kutzall bits, just go to the description below. It'll take you to the Kutzall site. Use code CFusion, you save yourself 5%. Now, these are both taper burrs. This is the black one. This is the extreme one. This is the silver. This is the original. But you can see the black one, all the spikes on it, and how aggressive it is. So what I'm going to do is use this burr first we'd call this not a block out, but I'm just going to, we'll call it a rough out. I'm going to start up at the top here, cut down this line. I might cut all my lines in, right? So cut on the bottom of the line, right? Boom, boom, boom. Then I'm going to come along with the same bit, then remove the wood. This tip will be shorter for sure. So cut, 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 cut. Sometimes I go down one side, boom, 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 boom. Then I flip it around, I come down the other side, boom, 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 boom. So cut, get all your lines cut in, do it however you want. Remove the wood below here. You got to remember, where's a clear one? So with this branch is underneath. So you got a whole branch here. It's underneath this branch and it's underneath this branch. So you need to cut here and taper it down. We're not going to do a undercut on this one, But if you do an undercut, which means get underneath, cut underneath this branch deep under there, because then you can make it so your little branches from the big branch come underneath there, if that makes any sense to you. But we're not going to go that route. So I'm going to start off with this one, do all my roughing out. Now this will have to be a voiceover, and I'll speed it up because I'll be wearing my dust mask. This is I'm running a Dremel 4000 with a Dremel flex shaft with a on-off foot pedal, the cheap one from Amazon. So you do your cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, remove the wood. So let me just do all these ones here first. Then I'll come along without my dust mask on, and we'll do one big one so you guys can see how to make these branches stick higher than this branch here. So I don't know how well you guys could see on camera, but I made that top, I cut it down a little bit shorter. But let's show you an example. So see how this branch tucks underneath there, and underneath this one, tucks underneath there, and underneath this one. Just carved it in super quick. Now, when you're doing these branches, you know, you don't want to just do your lines like boom, 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 boom. You want to give them some nice, what I do is I always do one cut, because this is going underneath this branch, right? This branch is higher. I do one cut like this. I start it off. Then I do all my other branches like that. So start off with one and try and keep that same curve on your branches. So for here example, I'd start right here. Then you got a nice curve. It kind of looks like it's blowing a bit. Try and do all your cuts like that. Then you can cross them. Now I already got the other bit in here. This is the taper silver burr. It's not as aggressive, so we'll do a couple of these ones here. Now you'll see, because I didn't do an undercut under here, so here's your higher branch right here. I didn't do an undercut, so I can't get underneath there to make it look like the branch is coming out from underneath there. So you'll see when I'm carving this in, when I'm done carving, I'll do a quick pass there, because you don't want to make it look like this branch is riding up on this branch, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to put my dust mask back on here. All right, now you can see how the branches are underneath and underneath there. Just carve it a little bit deeper in there, then bring it out. So that's that. So what's our next stage? Our next stage is we got a little butane torch here. You can use a propane torch. I wish I had a propane torch here. It burns quicker. But these little butane torches are good for burning little projects like this. Basically on this one, I got this weight sheet. This is my dust collector table here. I got a dust collector in my closet, and this sucks up lots of the dust. So I just put this there so the sparks can't go down in the holes there, and you don't want to catch a fire. Basically what I'm doing here is just burning away all the fuzzies, because this tree here, I'm going to paint it. Yep, you can do whatever you want to do. So when you're a very beginner wood carver, it's easy to get carried away with the torches and burn away all your detail. Trust me, I've been wood carving. Oops, don't want to catch that paper on fire. I've been carving for like 7 years now, and sometimes I still get carried away and burn away detail. This just helps you get rid of the fuzzies for this one that we're painting. But if I wasn't going to paint this and just give it a clear coat or Mod Podge or whatever, where you see this branch overhanging here, I'd give it a good deep burn right along here, and then down here, all where it overhangs, like fish scales or dragon scales, then you get a good effect. But like I said, this one's getting painted. So I'll finish burning this. I suggest do this, burning it outside. I'll finish burning this, then I'm going to pull out my flap sander. See how it's just burning away those fuzzies? It just helps the sanding process. When I'm not painting these, I usually burn the trunk really deep. It gives it a different, a different color texture when you're putting your clear coat on. If you don't even need to clear coat it, it just makes it separates it from the tree better. And also, I carved underneath, the branches underneath. I don't know if you guys can see, because sometimes people want to put these on their table or up higher, so you want it to carry on underneath, if that makes sense to you. So just finish burning this, and now we'll pull the flap sander. Now this is a sanding mandrel. It's 1/8, so it fits in your Dremel. And this is some cloth back sandpaper. So you can see I put it on one. There's two in there. I put 5 on, 4 forward, then 1 backwards. So when you're sanding it, you get all the angles. You can even hit it with the back like this. So the front, then the back. Turn your Dremels down when you're doing this, because trust me, please believe me that I have fried lots of Dremels running them at full speed or even half speed using this. This is very, 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 very hard on your Dremel motor. So turn it down. So it's just, then fill your Dremel. Make sure it doesn't get too hot, because next thing you know, you'll be using this. If you're doing a bigger piece, you'll be using this. You look over to your Dremel, and there it is, smoking. Yep. All right, so there we go. It's all sanded up, ready to paint. I like to do all this stuff. If you want, you can put the lights in now and paint it later, but why bother? When you paint it without the lights in it, you get paint down deep down in the holes. But you can see now why I drilled the holes before I carved it, because you do not see any chip outs in those holes. Maybe a little bit, but I didn't really spend too much attention to it. But it's a lot better to drill the holes then carve it, or vice versa. So it's been a couple windy days, stormy days around here. So I think it looks like the wind's gone down a little bit. So I think I'm going to go drive to the beach and see if any new wood washed up. And later today, I'll paint this and put the lights in and finish this video. I'm going beachcombing. So I was going to go beachcombing, but it's just way too rainy and stormy. There's even not too much wood on the beach, but there's a nice old piece of cedar. Yeah, it's not very nice out here. Forget it. And actually, there's not much wood on the beach. Those crazy buggers out there are windsurfing. Anyways. Alright, so no luck beachcombing today. That's fine. I'll go back when the weather's a bit nicer out. So you can see where I did the deep burn underneath each high point, how it really stuck inside there. So that's a good idea when you're not going to paint your trees. But this is what we got so far. And I got some dollar store. Oh, this stuff's not dollar store. This is from Michael's. This is Apple Barrel. Christmas red. I'm going to paint this tree. No, Christmas red. What am I talking about? Christmas green. Paint this tree Christmas green. Or you can go to the dollar store here in Canada and get this stuff. Hunter green. But I think this is the color that I want to go for. I diluted it a little bit with water. It's still pretty thick. And what I'm going to do is get this tree painted, let it sit overnight, and then we're going to hit it with some white to make it look like it's maybe some fruity sparkles too, to make it look like it snowed overnight. I really don't know what to say about this painting besides slapping the paint on, man. Getting it on. This is not a very good brush, actually. It's too loose. Because you got to get inside the... don't forget to paint underneath, too. Painting adds more work, but it's just... Painting something... it's fun to do. You kind of put on some tunes, put on some music. Do it at the evening time. It's not dusty. One thing that's really important that I didn't mention when you're doing this wood carving with the Dremel or power tools, get yourself a decent dust mask. It's important to wear your dust mask. I just went through a bunch of stuff at the hospital with my tonsils because I believe it's from wood carving, not wearing a dust mask enough. So it's important to get yourself a decent dust mask. This one is a North. It just got those filters on it. I don't even know if those are the right filters, but it stops the dust from going in your lungs. And cedar is pretty toxic. Luckily, I got really sensitive skin. I got it from my mom's side of the family. But luckily, growing up, since I was 13 years old, I started roofing with cedar shakes. I did it for a good part of my life. So just like using saws and getting sawdust, cutting shakes for the valleys and the hips and stuff like that, ridge caps for venting. So I've become immune to the sawdust at such a young age. But if you get too much cedar in your system, it will shut you down. Like it's done to me a few times over the years. Or I don't know what type of wood you got. Pine. I think pine's the most common wood in the world. Pine or oak but I'm lucky enough to get the cedar. Why I like carving the cedar so much? Well, it's soft. Not necessarily, I don't necessarily like carving the second growth stuff with the whitest grain. But any cedar that I've carved is soft compared to this. I'm speaking about the Western red cedar here. It's softer than any yellow cedar that I've carved. It's softer than any juniper. Juniper is also called Eastern red cedar. Now, the Eastern red cedar is where you get the white throughout the wood, and it's kind of like a dark red, purpley color. It's got a beautiful look, and it smells completely different than this Western red cedar, that's for sure. So when I'm painting too, I try and get my brush. It's not the best for the brush, but I dab inside the holes there where the lights are going to go. So yeah, just find yourself some soft wood. I think in my buddy Wheels, he's been a subscriber for a long time. I don't know if he lives in the UK. I think he's in, I believe Wheels is in, don't hold me to it. I think he's in Scotland Maybe he's in England. But he says they don't have fence boards there. He had to pick up a different type of board to do something like this. Now I'm not too sure. So hey, Chris Behringer, shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for tagging along all these years. If you know what that board was that you got, if they don't have fence boards at your hardware store, what's that board? I forget the name of it. It's like glued boards put together or something. I just really don't know. But anyways, how about I get this all painted? I'll let it dry overnight, and then we'll do some white on the tips. Maybe I'll try and find some fruity sparkles that I had from last. They're not fruity. You got to remember with this Christmas stuff, we call them the crazy Christmas tree ladies. They go crazy for this stuff, and sometimes some of the ladies like the sparkles. So if you can get some sparkles on your tree, might be a better seller. If you're going if you're doing it to make money or something. I wish both my grandmas were still alive. They're both gone now, and I miss them both. Actually, I was very close with both my grandmas on my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, and definitely they would have the Carving Fusion Christmas trees. They'd have lots of Carving Fusion stuff in their houses for sure. I'd give my real dad, lots of carvings to put in his place, but he lives on a boat in Vancouver City, and nice little boat he's got. He's got a newer boat now, but there's just really not any room for him to put anything in his boat because, well, I guess next time, I haven't seen him in a while. Next time I go down there or I see him, I'll make sure I have to give him some lighter cases or something. I actually do have a lighter case I carved here for him, so I'll take that down and give it to him. So I don't know. The wood carvings and art it's just so good to give as gifts. It's just even 6 or 7 years into it, I'm still gifting stuff away all the time. All the time. We'll let this drive back tomorrow. There's no rush. No rush, Jordy. So it's now the next day and everything is dry. We have this white acrylic paint. I'm not too sure where this came from, the art store, I guess. And this is the sparkles that I like to use for my winter projects. It's the finest stuff that I could find on Amazon. Craft glitter. Hemway craft glitter. So let's kind of paint the white on here, put sparkles on, put the lights in, and get this video done. It's going to be a long one. So it's basically just like I got my white paint here. It's just basically kind of like, I guess you could say dry brushing. You could, one thing that I've never done is I don't think I've done a full white tree. So you could paint the whole tree white. So I think something like this, kind of less is more. So you see how I just hit that? You can make it kind of, it's easy for me to get carried away. For sure. It is. Just kind of like dry brushing it on, blending it in there. All right. So you can see when you do this style of the tree, how you get the different branches coming out. See how that's going under there now? I was trying to explain earlier. And just kind of just dry brush it up. This is how I do it. You guys can do it however you want to do it. We'll do one more. Now, you can put the sparkles in the paint, but I don't know. When I've done that, you don't really see the sparkles too well. You can kind of go up a little bit more too and just give it some more character. Don't get carried away though, Jordy. Okay, so I'll finish this off screen and then we will put the lights in. No. Yeah, no, yeah. Maybe we'll put the sparkles in. I'm not sure. All right, so all the paint is dry. You can put sparkles on here if you want. You could use that fake snow down here. Put the sparkles on the fake snow. You don't even have to put sparkles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lights in, spray it with the clear coat, then sprinkle the sparkles on the whole piece when it's the clear coat's drying. Sometimes, from my experience, when you put the sparkles on, then you put a clear coat over the sparkles, it's, well, it feels silly saying sparkles. The sparkles aren't as sparkly. So here's the 20 lights I got. Make sure that you always test your lights out before you put them in. This takes a while to do. I've put lights in before. I hot glued them in before, and when I went to turn it on, the lights didn't work. I had to take them all out. It was just nothing but a pain in the butt. So we're just going to kind of run this live for a bit here. I put all, you can do it any way you want to do it. I started at the top. Now, because 20 lights is lots for this tree, so you're going to have tons of extra wire between the lights. So what I do is I kind of stretch them out, sometimes to as far as they'll go. That's pretty far, but let's see here. So if I go there, no, I got to go up here. I put all the lights in first before. See how I stretched this one? This one could fit right there, but I stretched it out to here. It makes it so you don't have to bend cables over as much and stuff. Just kind of, I'm not saying, this is just my opinion on stuff. Why is that not going in there? Come on. See, sometimes you have to, because the paint has made the holes smaller. So I get all these lights in place. Let's see here. Will that work? Perfect. I get all these lights in place. Then I don't know if this will work here. Let's see. Yep, that will be good. I get all the lights in place. Then once I know they're in place and I got the exact amount of holes drilled and stuff like that, like see here, I'm bringing this one down here. You could go right there or there, but bring it down here so you have less cable to glue down. Let's see, I guess, well, we're kind of getting, yeah, this paint is a little bit thicker paint, so I just make sure all the lights go on the, this is not rocket science, it's rocket science. All right, so, and our last one here. So good, 20 lights, 20 holes. Now, make sure they're all sticking out proper. See, that one's kind of shallow in there. Just make sure they're to where you want them. I'll hot glue them in, and then I'll double check to make sure. But they're, yeah, this paint's a lot thicker than the paint that I normally use, so it's kind of plugged up the holes a bit. It's okay. Get yourself a flathead screw, just a screwdriver or something. Just remelt the holes a bit. You can recarve the holes again. You can repaint them. So this is the hot glue gun that I use. This is a Grizzly one with the clear strips. Now, you got to remember, you have to have somewhere to glue this battery pack too. And we have a stand thing that we have to glue on after too. So I probably should have put the stand on first, but that's all right. So just get your lights in place where you want them. Run around, hot glue them, but also check when the glue's still warm that your light hasn't slid out of position or something like that. So let's, is this thing warm enough? So hot glue right here. Check your light, make sure it's perfect the way you want it. That's good. This one. So I don't think I need to explain how to do this. You don't need that much glue. Get in there. All right, so I'll get all these lights glued into place. Then you got to fold the wires down. You could use a like a heavy nut or whatever you got heavy to hold it down, but I just use my fingers. I call it finger. What's that name? What's that board game where you um, like two people would play it and you'd have to touch a dot body, whatever. Okay, so all the lights are in place. Good enough for me. Now, this is a piece that I cut when I was cutting these trees, and I just angle it back a bit because you don't want these trees to fall forward. So I hot glue this on here, and then I stand the tree up. I can't really show you on camera, but I stand the tree up and I hold it so it's got a good stick so this tree won't rock. All right, let's get that on. So there you can see it's tilted back just a little bit, not too much. You don't want it to fall forward when people buy it from you. The battery pack, sometimes it gets tricky. Just glue it in a spot where you know it won't get in the way with these wires. Sometimes you have to flatten down all these wires and glue this on top of the wires. You just run out of room. I signed it down here. Okay, everybody. So that's going to be it for this one. So if you don't paint them, here's how they look. I know the lights are kind of giving a weird reflection here, but let's see if I can turn these lights off. My battery pack there. Click them off. See if you can see the sparkles on there. Yeah, you can. So I hit it with the clear coat. I just use this for most of my indoor carvings. I just use this Rust-Oleum stuff, semi-gloss. You can get gloss, semi-gloss, clear. Gloss, semi-gloss, matte, or satin. Let's really see how it sparkles. Anyways, just thought I'd show you guys how you can make awesome Christmas presents for basically next to nothing. And also, these are huge sellers at Christmas time.